It was a long time since Rich had gotten a job. About 19 months. It didn't matter to me if Rich got a job. However, Rich wanted to be employed. Rich ended up getting a job in Texas City, Texas. Rich had come to Washington and picked me up. We took my car and drove the coast, all the way to Texas. From Washington State, Rich wanted me to have my car so I would have a sense of freedom. We had to rent a room that had no furniture other than a bed. Rich had no money for an apartment. I had gotten bored, so I started looking at houses. I also started looking for a job. There weren't many jobs in the area, and Rich hadn't been working long enough to get a house to work on and put together and make look nice. My sister Cindy was already getting involved in my life, and we seemed to be picking our relationship up ever since she came to get knee surgery. I assumed it was because she had appreciated that I had helped her a great deal when she needed it. And I assumed she was trying to help me by being there so I could bounce my ideas off of her. I had had a counselor for a long time that I was used to bouncing my ideas off of. That was a lot like a pseudo-mother that had just retired. So I appreciated having my sister to bounce ideas off of. Most telephone conversations I will transcript so that you can understand what's being said.
Well, I came here to Texas with Rich, and I've gone further into Texas than his sister's house.
Well, it is a little tough. You've been drilling on him to get a job for forever and ever, and he finally gets a job. I mean, I can kind of see where he's coming from, but then you're staying there, and you're probably bored out of your mind. What does pay an hour?
Oh, he's getting $15 an hour, and it's a state job, and it's working with veterans, helping them find work. So it's a really good job, but I kind of...
Roles reversed, and you had somebody fucking pitching down your throat about this, and I'm just saying, about this, and he finally does, and he did everything on the list, and he still, but this. Wouldn't you really hate that person?
Yeah.
If it was reversed and someone was doing that shit to you. So, here's the thing. I mean, no, I realize 15 an hour is not a lot, but it sounds like it might be a most, beneficial to society type of job.
Right.
And he might be really good at this, and it might be actually painful for him to do this job. He's going to see the massive abuse that's been taking place to the veterans. He's going to see it. And that's going to be a little disturbing. I'm not sure which area he's working with, but, if you're working with post-traumatic stress people or, any of those kind of categories, you see how the government abused the veterans so horribly. I mean, it's going to be gut-wrenching.
I thought that was a weird thing for Cindy to say about my bitching down Rich's throat, so I asked Rich and he said no, that I hadn't been bitching at him. I am a people pleaser, I don't tend to complain. In fact, when Rich and I were in Hawaii, I informed Rich if he only wanted to work part-time that I would be fine with that. Rather she fabricates it or not, if she can claim I'm doing something wrong and that she's got the solution of how it should be done, that begins dependence on her and starts breaking down my self-esteem. One of the dangerous things that happens when you're involved with a narcissist is that their ability to chip away at your self-esteem leads you to self-doubt. Because you did something wrong, at least according to the narcissist, you're trying to do it the right way. When that is wrong, you will try something else. I believe Cindy was creating what's called a double bind. Double binds are all about control. These situations may not seem controlling at first, because you are not being openly controlled. I gave her the benefit of the doubt and did it her way. Eventually, after I have done this once or twice more, I start believing I'm not able to make a decision on my own or without her in order to be successful. This is extremely scary place to be because this opens the door to tolerating abuse. Oh, and the psychopath can be so unbelievably cruel and abusive. You tolerate the abuse because you're convinced you need her help to do it right. I would do anything not to lose Rich, so I tolerated so much abuse beyond and then some. There were 3 or 4 times during the drive through the desert she reminded me of my risk. I didn't have experience with driving that far, so I would go to Rich to verify that it was all right. I wanted Rich's reassurance, but he felt I was making a bigger deal out of it than I needed to. Rich promised to drive me back so I would be safe. When we got to Texas City, Texas.
Now he has broken a promise to something that is important to you. A valid concern, and now he's missing it. Oh, well, he's blackmailing you. You have to stay here. I'm not going to escort you back until springtime. Bullshit. You want to know, I know. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there.
Now he has broken a promise to something that's important to you. A valid concern, and now he's disking you, he's blackmailing you. I'm not going to afford you back until springtime. Bullshit. If you want to go, I'd go. Would get out of there, get out of there. Hard to believe now looking back. I realize that this is an act that Cindy is doing. She doesn't really give a shit. Acting a role like a TV icon, or... Oh my god, what did I just let this extreme sadistic toxic bitch talk me into? I know me, I wouldn't have left Rich because I would have forgiven him, written it off as a new job and stress. Am not really aware of even being triggered. This triggering causes me to be traumatized. Now remember the conversation before. She was in high support of all the good Rich had done. Now she's running him into the ground. This back and forth, good bad, good bad. This is called intermittent reinforcement, which does a number on you psychologically. What is it about narcissistic behavior that leaves one scratching their head and wondering what just happened? A narcissist can derail someone in minutes. To say this confuses you, shocks you, or throws you off your game is an understatement. This process causes addiction to set in. Remember, we're working on the basis of that she is a lifeline and is going to keep me safe.
I think you're doing fine. I am a bit of a lifeline to you because I'm trying to help you keep your water. Yes, you are. Yes.
I was so idealistic. I believed whatever someone told me. I shouldn't have never ever allowed anyone to poke at the man I love. My boundaries were so weak. And my gullibility is particularly embarrassing to me. It is normal to seek some outside validation, but to have the confidence in yourself to accept your own identity. To have that balance of knowing yourself, but being open to others. In a way, it is like being that all-knowing monk. I was trusting my sister too much and not seeing her for the troublemaker that she enjoys being. I have often journaled because I tend to lose sight of my own feelings. For me, journaling is vital. I have a good head on my shoulders. However, I tend to trust others too much.
So wonderful in the eyes of God, and we're just such wonderful people. They fucking piss me off. They're some of the most brutal, deceitful, disgusting people I've ever known. You're not going to be worth nothing. No. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get away.
The narcissistic personality will create chaos and turmoil on a regular basis, and on purpose, to keep you in a heightened state of anxiety. She will do this even when things are good, and especially when things are good. Everything that a narcissist does is done with the purpose of keeping you afraid. Narcissists are like parasites. They use mind control on their host to create drama, which is what they feed on.
I don't know what to do with them, Kathleen. You put me in a situation last night where you forced me to do that. Because I'm frankly tired of it.
Rich, I know it's too late to say or do anything. Rich, I know it's too late to say or do anything. I'm sorry, I was gullible and an easy target to someone who wanted to hurt us. If I could take back the hurt I caused you, I would. I can't. My intuition begins to kick in.
Hey, how's the trip going? Are you at your destination?
Yeah, no.
Hey, how's the trip going? Did you make it to your destination? Cool.
Yeah, but God, I'm so totally missing Rich. Damn it.
I am totally missing Rich, damn it.
Oh, you idiot.
I've been doing some reading because I had some resentment and I had some regrets about what I've done in order to be with this relationship. And it's like, I've pulled up some information on it and I go, okay, maybe he's right. Maybe, and your comment about, well, if you're going to accept him, you need to overlook that stuff and move beyond it. Yeah, that's kind of, so then so I'm working on moving beyond it, trying to deal with anger. It wasn't like a reoccurring thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it. Well, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I just really think he's control freak myself. Too. I mean, that's really impression. I know you mentioned it. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it has to be rich that fills that spot.
Cindy. Oh, you idiot. K. Well, I have been doing some reading because I had some resentments and some regrets about what I have done in order to be with this relationship. Like, you know, I pulled up some information and I go, okay, maybe he's right. And your comment, if you're going to accept him, you need to overlook that stuff and move beyond it. Okay, so I'm working on moving beyond it and trying to deal with my anger. It wasn't like a reoccurring thing. Cindy. Well, I wouldn't worry about it. Well, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I think he's a control freak myself. That's my impression. I know you miss him. But that doesn't mean it has to be rich that fills that spot. Oh my god, what did I just let this extreme sadistic toxic bitch talk me into, and has just gained another foothold. It's the first time I ever left Rich. It was extremely damaging to our relationship. And a tremendously critical turning point. Later on, Rich tells me he's not coming back for me if I ever take off again. I can't blame him, for he has done everything I ever wanted him to do. Why do narcissists love provoking people to become angry? Bury peace, past narcissistic relationships. Most of them just see everything as a competition, so when you react, it makes you look bad and they see it as winning and you as losing. When you react, they feel they have power over you because they made you react. They don't see it as you getting pissed after they pushed every possible button. They see it as they have control over you and your emotions. They will never admit that your reaction is a normal response for their toxic behavior. Your reaction is the real abuse. Others are just sadistic, plain and simple. They live by the pain of others. They love to cause it. It's like food, or love for a normal person. Causing pain lifts and amuses them. Another thing is what's called projective identification. They see the good in you, and how much you're different than them. You're sensitive and don't have a problem to express yourself. You aren't afraid to be vulnerable. You aren't afraid to open up, to give and feel love for someone else. It's just that you're not paranoid like they are. They see all of your different and good qualities and they envy you. They want it for themselves, and if they can't have them, they don't want you to have them at all. By you having these qualities is a reminder to themselves of how empty and miserable they actually are, how bad and mean they are. You're like a mirror to their true self. It triggers their deep shame that they try to run from since they remember themselves. What they do is they don't want you to have them, they want to destroy it, to destroy you and all the good things they envy about. They start by devaluing you to make you think you're not your qualities, that what's in you is not true, it don't exist.
So I have a hard time with that one because they always say that. It's like all the people that I said before, like this thing that they want to, this corporate coup that they want to do worldwide. Yeah. And it will be, and it'll be the people like me who actually get a hold of the senators and get on the internet and educate the people and get educated about it so you can let others know. And it'll be the Christian guy who goes, oh, my prayers were answered. Yeah. And he sat there on the couch and watched sports or whatever, never did a damn thing. And that's what's irritating because he's not the one who made it happen. It was the other people who got off their ass and did something. So I really fucking despise that.